I mean, we saw each other in New York.
Yeah,
What was it, in November, December?
November.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
I was running around looking for coffee, and there you were sitting waiting to do an interview
Coffee.
with Joe.
Standing up straight for the idols and them. Raise our flag.
This is Ryan with Ethereal Metal Webzine, and I'm here today with Lars of Soen. Lars, thanks again so much for taking the time to chat today. How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you very much for doing this. I mean, we saw each other in New York.
Yeah,
What was it, in November, December?
November.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
I was running around looking for coffee, and there you were sitting waiting to do an interview
Coffee.
with Joe.
That's right. That's great. So I wanted to ask before we get started today, what are some of the bands that you've been listening to lately, and did you find any inspiration from it?
Oh, what have I been listening to lately? Quite diverse. I've listened to the new Hives album lately.
Oh, cool.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's what you expect, but
Yeah,
they do what you do, and they do it right.
cool, cool.
I've been listening to some Viagra Boys, also in that same like punk rock from Sweden type of
Yeah, sure.
garage style. I've been listening to a lot of other genres outside rock and metal as well. I mean, I always go back to my '60s soul classics and
Yeah, of course.
some jazz and some early fusion stuff, early '70s fusion stuff. And I don't know. I listen to so much different music all the time, depending on the mood of the day.
Earlier, the last time we saw each other was back in November. It was the very first US headlining tour for
Yes.
Soen. How did the rest of the tour go after we saw each other? And how was it to finally be in the States as as a headlining?
I mean, that whole tour was great. It was fantastic. It was also, I mean, to do that for the first time, and to see that we actually have an audience coming out and singing along to the songs and bringing the energy to the room. That's fantastic. And I mean, a few of the shows that sticks out, one of them being definitely to New York, and Montreal was absolutely amazing. We went down to Texas to play a couple of shows together with Catatonia, and that was,
Catatonia, yeah,
yeah, that was beautiful shows, especially in Dallas. It was
sure.
fantastic. And I know it was just great, because it's something we wanted to do for so long, but for different reasons we couldn't. And then when we finally got to do it, it just felt really good.
So many bands have that one album in their career that stands out as a defining moment. And for me, each Soen album over the years has grown and gotten stronger and stronger. But I feel like this new album coming up is going to be your strongest release yet. Do you believe that Memorial has the potential to be that career-defining moment for Soen? And if so, what sets it apart from previous works?
Good question. I mean, we hope so.
Yeah,
But I mean, this time around, I think everybody was really happy with how the album came out. It's just, we wouldn't go and change anything. Everything is just the way we imagined it to be and the way we wanted it to be. And so I think in that way, it feels very rewarding to release something that we all stand behind 100%. And there's no compromises. There's no, fillers or anything. Just what the songs are there because they should be there. And so I really hope that will come across, and that we're going to find a new audience with it as well.
absolutely. And that's also something else I wanted to mention about, the way that you just said there's no fillers, and there's not. There's absolutely nothing that's just filling space on the album. I want to ask about the flow of the album. Did that come naturally, or was it just kind of like it kind of just fell into place, or was it specifically planned out that way?
Of course, it's not planned out while we're writing the songs, because then you're
Sure.
just in the process. You just want to bring out as many good songs as you can. But when we had the bunch, we were listening while we've been touring so much, so we all have been
Exactly.
same room or in the same van or in the same bus so much, and we've been listening to different stages of the songs, like from early demos and to production mix, demo mixes to the final product. And I think that have like slowly settled into to be that the pacing of the album, like quite naturally, because it was not a hard thing to place all the songs in the right order. That was pretty easy actually.
Great.
But what we do, we always like think. Sorry to add it.
No, please do.
Quite fun when we do this. We always also think how it would work as a vinyl, because
Absolutely.
so to have the like first half be its own little record in itself, and then you turn it around and you get a new experience with the second half. So we really take that into consideration.
Exactly. Cool. And the title Memorial, for me at least, hints at profound emotional themes, including the impact that the war has had, any war on global scales. And of course, the way the media often tries to simplify complex issues. It also delves into the notion of seeking common ground rather than destruction and wanting to just harm people. Could you reveal some of the more personal or maybe even unexpected inspirations that contributed to the album's creation?
In terms of war and conflict, or in general?
No, just in general, really. Like, was there anything that might have been an unexpected inspiration for the album?
Because I mean, of course, we have a bass player being Ukrainian,
Of course,
have an invasion, a full-scale invasion of his country. So, of course, that thing comes into the lyrics and the theme of the album naturally. Absolutely. It would be hard to not,
of course,
address those issues, because as Soen always tried to base our lyrics in the real world and not in the fantasy or cosmos or dragons or Vikings or whatever. We try to have it
right
think about what's actually going on in our lives or in the world, and comment things that we think things are wrong or whatever. So
sure.
That was a huge inspiration for sure.
Of course. And speaking of Zlatoyar, how is he? How is he doing?
He's doing well, and his family is still in Ukraine, and they are safe.
Good. I'm glad.
Moments, yeah, and
very
they've
happy
been
to hear that.
Through all the war. We were, really lucky to have the guy come to Sweden just like 1.5 weeks before the invasion started. So
yeah,
of course, it's a difficult time for him, but he's doing well. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Please pass along our best to him.
I will.
So the music industry has undergone significant changes in recent years. How has the evolving landscape influenced Soen's approach to releasing and promoting Memorial? And how has the band adapted or evolved in terms of creativity and collaboration?
That's an interesting question, because it seems like, at least me, Martin, and Joel are, in our early 40s, and
right.
We have our families, and we grew up in the 90s with all that. With the albums and the CDs and even the vinyls when we were kids,
Sure.
So that's how we like our music. We like to put out albums every couple of years, and we like to listen to music that way. So that's, I guess, why we stayed in that format.
Yeah.
So we could also do like other pop acts or hip hoppers or whatever that just drop a single every second month. But that's not really who we are, and I think our music comes out the best way as the long album format.
About one of the tracks on the album called Icon. I think it's one of the heaviest riffs that someone has put out, for me personally anyway. And it lyrically conveys themes of like remembrance and tribute to those who may have fought for a cause in some sort of a conflict, but also feelings of betrayal and how those in power try to take advantage of sacrifices that have been made. What can you share specifically about what influenced this track specifically?
And that's one of the songs that has to deal with the war. So
I thought so. Yeah,
it's actually 3 songs that are very specific about war from, and they all are from different perspectives. So actually, you speak with Martin about this because he's the one that wrote those lyrics. But you know, one of the songs being on the perspective of the soldier that come home with PTSD, and you know, and had to do all this crazy stuff that you have to do as a soldier, while the other is about, you know, the family waiting at home. And, it's just different perspective of the same theme.
Of course.
So yeah, I guess that's all I can say.
More ballad songs. You have Hollowed and Vitals, two of the more ballad tracks on the album, but have some really powerful emotions behind them. They're musically incredibly well done, really beautiful tracks. Hollowed, featuring Elise, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, sees a more acoustic driven feel, while Vitals almost kind of feels like a Pink Floyd ballad that really rips at your heart. What can you tell us about these tracks, and how was it working with Elise?
Elisa, I think. So you actually hear the A, but she is an Italian pop rock singer, really big in her own country. She sings in Italian for most of the time, but she plays like arenas and stuff like that. So she's a major artist down there. And we wrote this song intending to be a duet, but we didn't know who was going to be the female counterpart to Joel.
Cool. Okay.
Because it makes it more interesting singing about relationships, because we don't do that often, and like singing about love stories or you know, love falling apart or whatever, you know.
Right.
So to make that more real, so to speak, we decided to have a female counterpart, and we were bouncing ideas around, and our manager works with her, and he suggested, like, hey, you should check my artist Elisa out, and that was a perfect fit. We all really loved her voice, and she'd been doing this kind of collaboration before. She have a duet with Muse that she released like 1 or 2 years ago, and she was up for it. She liked the song, and she did a fantastic job there.
That's cool.
And what was the next? Yeah, the Vitals. That's,
Vitals,
what can I say about that? That's a song that actually I came up with like 2 years ago, or even more, 2.5 years ago, and it's just been laying around. I wrote it really quickly just before Imperial was released, and I sent it to Joel, and he got inspired, added some vocals. I sent it to Martin, he got inspired, and we reworked some parts, and then it's just been sitting there. And now getting like, you know, ensembling which song should we use. That the talk of that song came up again, and we thought it was a perfect album closer, because it's like a different feel, like very dark, very slow, a little bit jazzy. So yeah, it was just a perfect.
And it's perfect you said that, because I wanted to mention the jazz influences. As a multi-instrumentalist yourself, what did you write that album on in the first place? Sorry, not the album, the track. What did you write it on in the first place?
Or the Titles was written on acoustic guitar.
Acoustic, okay.
That's when I write, I mostly come up with the ideas from acoustic guitars, or maybe sometimes acoustic piano.
Just a little bit. The other day, you just announced the upcoming U.S. tour, which is going to be in May and June of 24, which will now be your second headlining tour in the U.S. How does that feel? What are you most likely looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to do the whole thing once more, because the first time you have no clue what's going to happen. It's like a roller coaster. You know, all these places I have never been to, and all the experience, meeting all the people for the first time, and now I just want to go back there and, you know, I can take it all in. You know, I can be there in the moment in another way because
Exactly.
it's not new impressions all the time. So you know,
No, that's
and I'm
great.
looking
That's cool.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe we'll get some coffee.
Yeah, definitely. If we
Definitely.
can find one.
So just before we go, I wanted to ask one final question. Having been in Soen since 2014, you've been a part of the group now for quite some time. What would you say is your personal proudest moment in the band?
Oh, wow. My proudest moment in the band. I mean, the good thing about Soen is that even though we change members now and then, it's really a collective effort. And
Yeah.
I think my proudest moment is just that they accepted me early on, and let my influence be a part of the Soen sound and the Soen music. And I think that's what I take with me the most. That's why I've been here for so long, because I just feel
Yeah, of course.
so welcome. I accepted and really one fifth of the band, and
Cool.
very nicely. So
All right. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate it. Lars, thank you again for chatting today. Everybody watching, make sure you go and check out Violence, the new single and the new video that's out now. The link will be below. It's like, Lars, thanks again so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.